I, a Tartarus for youth. 1. I, sated with stolen life, emerged from mother's night. There was longing to be free from the warmth of darkened humours, to be crowned by the light of artificial gods. Our worlds quake and rip, tossing us upon gory shores beyond fertile crests, illuminated by a cold sun. Messengers sweep down in clouds of winged oblivion to wet lips with Lethe's waters upon cruel fingertips. Shhh. 2. I. Blinded, light brings pain in rushes of movement and sound that sting the flesh. Icy, with invasions of steel and sterile prodding. Souls roused to profess philosophies, in cries and screams that crack the air, unheard, like the falling of leaves upon the ground from distant trees. 3. I. Swaddled bodies searched in vain for the safety of familiarity. Tell much, tell little, like symbols in scrying mirrors. Their fictions written with sweat and tears, anointing foreheads, eyes, and lips with benedictions of shameful regret. As if it were better to have the heads of babes dashed and bloodied upon the rock than to suffer Spartan destinies, impaired, left only to linger, a world apart, in bloodless mediocrity. 4. I. What are these ragged paths to be stumbled upon, under tender foot, with stones that cut, and scratching thorns from the briar that temper flesh, supple and pink, making hard what once was soft to the touch, fed by an earth that feasts on cuts, bodies devolved to walk upright and alone upon roads paved with the hands and backs of brethren, knuckles crunching beneath soles like so much gravel. 5. I. Oh, the passion of attainment, upon which the masses engorge, aimless in its medals and promises of faceless adulations, and the settling of laureled wreaths upon heads of cartilage. How empty these violent strikes against the self, incessant and passionless, carving out pounds of flesh, victory for victory, till nothing remains, all for narratives that are not their own. 6. I. How thirsty are these, the razor-tongued buds of spring, driven to the drinking of others' tears for satisfaction of sanguine thirsts, to revel in the tearing of white petals from tender stems with poisoned fingertips, delighting in themselves as if masters of ceremonies at bloodletting and vivisections. 7. I. The sooth of touch's fidelity has melted away, soured like cream in the sun. Replaced, the quality of distance makes explicit one's worth across arid plains of air and silence. Fallen away, the allures and charms of communion, only to make room for the play of shadows on Plato's walls. 8. I. There is a science, oppressive and cold, beyond the collisions of heavenly bodies of light in love, clashing, explosions of atoms over chasms, the space in between that define and separate. Souls, burning brightly, cannot coexist in their starry majesties without a surrendering of fire. My heirs takes your Aphrodite. 9. I. Upon paths paved with gold, under the azure of a fanning sky, herds are driven in blithe procession to the precipice, cast into the maw of their society. Without the iron shielding of wings, they perish, masticated like every man's meat, leaving them shades that stain the wintry air. 10. I will crawl to the grave, worn and weary, upon the earth I have salted with tears, violent and hot, but harmonious. in time's own poetry, where I will find the peace and solace of rest, drinking from a forgetful cup, shrouded by the arms of my brother, the undergloom.